Hey, coaches, got a special guest for you tonight. A good buddy of mine, Phillip Richards, who's down in Effingham County in Georgia. And Phillip is an elite defensive coordinator, but this year he flipped over to the offensive side and turned into an air raid guy. So what's neat about Phillip is this was their first year running GT counter, and tonight he's going to teach us the hawk play, which was one of the ways they protected GT counter against an odd front. So Phillip, excited to have you back on here again, man, and excited to learn from you.
Thank you, Joe. Looking at this hawk play, it's like anything else. It's what you can block. Everything looks good on the board, but we found, and talking to you, that when you run a GT scheme or even a read scheme where you're gonna have angle blocks, that whoever you're playing, they're overworking that thing that week on key reading those defensive ends, and they're playing over the top of that triangle with them backers. And it's funny, you watch them in warm up, that's all they're doing. They don't even have a back, in the backfield. So it kind of puts you in a little conflict sometime when that guy's overplaying it. And then, you got to have that protection play, that complement play to anything you do. But I'll tell you what we really ran into. As a defensive coordinator, head coach, I really believe in the odd front. A 3-4 and or a 3-5 are great high school defenses. They're made for high school. And coming over to the other side of the ball on O-line, I'm just tell you, they're hard to block. I would rather see an even front anytime. An odd front just gives you so many what ifs. What about that? What if, there's too many variables. So sometimes you just got to be able to line up and run that ball at them. And I think the hawk play does that. And what you get with these odd fronts is if you got the head up fours, they're probably two gap reading you. If you got the fives, they're key reading you, and just get out there. Sometimes it's just a booger to get the play off. And you got to have something where you can just slam it up in there and get the first down. This play works best against a 3-4, but if you can get those 3-5 guys to break their stack and slide ever so slightly, and I'm going to have one clip of that, you got a chance with this play. So we'll just take a look at a few clips here and talk through it. All right. So right here, it looks like a 404.
All right, now you're pulled up. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry. It looks like a 404. It might have a 5 on that one side. He probably, you can see number 10 there is just cheating to the field a little, but it's still an odd front to me. And all you're going to get is you'll see the two guards are going to turn out. You're going to out block. How many times do you see that? Not zone out. You're going to turn out, the very opposite of the down block. You're going to have the tackles. We call it a slide. Some of them half skip. So, you're going to put that linebacker in conflict right now. The defensive end is thinking, oh, here comes GT. Both of them going to think GT's going the other way and start to squeeze, and that guard should catch him. And then your nose, you're going to play off the nose. You're going to basically let him go where he wants to go and get in the way enough to get the play off. Your tailback, and you're going to see later with the quarterback, are going to run it straight up the center's butt and just cut off the block. So we'll take a look at a couple here. And when you got I think it's a 6-7 yard gain, but when you got an 800-pound nose guard, he can come off that thing. We're holding him about best we can hold him. You can see one of the tackles actually makes a block. 70 actually makes a block. The guard doesn't even block a soul there. And we get 7 yards off that thing. The other tackle never gets up, never gets to the guy, whiffs at him. And it's just a chance for us to not have to, now there's no read on this. Is this a chance for us not to have to read everything out and be perfect? You know, I worked for a guy one time, he said, you just got to have a play. Sometimes you can just hand off. Get you another angle here. Okay, now this is a little later on. I think that one was very early on. This is a little later on. Okay. We widen the splits a little. We learned that you can widen them out on this and get away with it. And you can see that nose guard just, I mean, he absolutely jumped out the way right there. And they got all kind of movement going on here. We might have even hurt ourselves. And I think we did learn this in this game here. We hurt ourselves in this game with running too much. Anytime we wanted to run the motion, they would start shifting too. And it was kind of messing us up a little on where to go. But you can see we don't have any bone crusher blocks going on whatsoever. We're just going to put some people in conflict, try to protect ourselves. And you can see the left tackle never gets up whatsoever because he gets caught in the trash. Sometimes that happens. I think the right tackle runs right by his guy, and we still getting 4 or 5 yards and just give, you know, it's just an up the middle run. And it's nothing magic to it whatsoever. And this is the same one. We'll just take a look at the whole scheme of it here. And every time you run this play, I don't know if it's just me, but anytime you run this play, it looks like when you hand that ball off, it looks like so much trash is in there, and you just run right through it because nobody's fitting correct. You see both the inside backers have to readjust, and by the time they do, and this is a very good team we're playing, probably the best coach team we played all year. By the time they fit back in there, you're 4 or 5 yards downfield, first down. Now this one here. All right, let's see. This is just another peek at it. And then we've got one that's a little bit different. And there's a heck of a run right there. And you can see the center's doing nothing but catching. That's a little bit too much letting him go wherever he wants to go for me. Left tackle actually gets up under here and gets just enough of a piece of the guy. Both the tackles get just enough, and we get a 6-7 yard gain right there. So this one, all right, we're playing a 3-5 team, but we noticed when we went empty, they would cheat. They would start cheating to the field or cheating to the empty, but we could almost, and you can see right here, 1, 2, 3, they're still stacked, but we can almost break their box. But what I noticed early on is anytime we went empty was these backers, even their stud backer here in the middle would not sit down. They would spot drop immediately. So you can see we've widened our splits a little here. And even with the 5 techniques, that's even better to me. That's even better. These backers are going to get out of here. Now I want to make a note here. This is literally a 300-pound nose guard you're going to see versus a 150-pound center. And I'm not exaggerating. And all you got to do is get in the way just long enough. And we turned it into a quarterback draw. Because they just got out the way and we stick it right back down the middle. So we made them get back. We made them get back into their stack, even when we were in empty. And now we were able to dink and dunk the ball around on them. You can see, I don't think either tackle actually got to a man. 58 may have. No, neither tackle really even got to a man. So
Do it one more time. I want to see where the mic went.
he bailed out immediately. And we noticed that very early on.
He just opened to the 3 receiver side. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, and right here, he just opened and bailed to the 3 receiver side. And right here, my center said, look, he was shaded to start with. That made it easier. I said, yeah. And I'm telling you, there was literally a 150-pound difference right there. And you're just getting away enough. And it slows them up a hair too, you know.
This is how we run it. When we do it, we used to do it out of no backs.
Yeah. And there's, like I said, there's no magic. There's no great blocks going on here. It puts everybody in conflict and just protects what you're trying to do. So. And you're not going to get away with it much, but it slows them up enough to be able to run what you need to run.
No, I'm with you. It's a good way to protect the counter because they're just reading those guards and hauling tail and squeezing so hard.
I think, you know, I think you got to do that. There's some merit in that. There is, but and I don't know what percent, if it's 51 one way and 49 the other, but you still got to read the guy. You got to have a key read in the backfield also, because if you're just reading them guards don't carry that football. So you got to have some other things too. And I literally just noticed that that's all people were doing to us. That's all they were doing. And I mean, you know, you go against your own defense every day, and not that you're trying to practice to beat them, but I mean, they wasn't game planning for us, but they even got in the habit of that. So, you know, I think like any offense, but especially when you're spread and running any type of GT scheme and even a front side read scheme, because you're down blocking and gap blocking there, it just gives you a protection play and puts everybody in conflict where, you know, the next couple of plays, maybe it slows them up enough for you to run what you really wanted to run anyway.
Well, I love it, man. Great job. That's one every guy who runs GT counter. When you're seeing the odd front, that's an easy one. That's what's that? That's an inexpensive way to protect.
Yes.
And
yeah, and you know,
thing.
we never even practiced it on our pool drill. We might put some tires out or something to get to, but we felt like we were getting enough reps, you know, through pool drill to where, okay, guys, this is a shorter one. This is an out block. It's like I flipped you on the other side. You know, it's the opposite of your down block, you know. And honestly, we didn't hit it a lot in practice. It was just enough for a protection play. So
yeah. Well, awesome job, man. Like always. I appreciate you doing this for us, buddy.
Thank you.